and facts about them. Next video, it will be planets outside our solar system, so exoplanets and stuff. And then next video will be like other objects out there in space. Starting with our own sun. Our sun is actually a yellow dwarf. And no, it's not the biggest out there. It's also not the smallest out there. It's actually bigger than average size, so that's really interesting. So the sun is the mass of 330 times of Earth. 330,000 times of Earth, actually. It's over. This is just like the mass, but over 1 million Earths could fit in our sun, and that's huge. That's a big number. And one day the sun will eventually swell up into a red giant, engulfing us. I wouldn't say it would engulf us. It could. It might. It probably would anyway. I don't know. But it will swell up into a red giant. Then supernova. So that'll be fun. Mercury. So this Mercury has been known since ancient times. Way past. 1 year on Mercury is 88 Earth days. 1 year on Mercury is 88 Earth days. A day on Mercury is 176 Earth days. Because even though it travels rather fast around our star, around the sun, it still not orbits. It still rotates very slowly. It was once believed that a planet called Vulcan orbited between the Sun and Mercury, but no existence of such planet was ever found. So, if there was such thing, and maybe it got destroyed or something, I don't know. Venus. So Venus is the second brightest natural object in the sky, in like the night sky being the first the moon. 1 day on Venus is longer than a year. So, yeah. So once again, it rotates very, very slowly. Venus rotates in an opposite direction as other planets. So, as other planets go clockwise, Venus goes counterclockwise. And Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. Even though Mercury is closer to the Sun, Venus is still the hottest because of the clouds trapping in all the heat. The heat goes in and it can't escape, so it's just really hot. There's also acid rain on Venus, so probably don't want to go there. So Gaia is actually the early Earth, after the early Earth. So Gaia is what Earth looked like before the collision of Theia, which is another planet that was made alongside the Earth, but eventually they collided and then Earth was created. All the continents on Gaia were combined. The continents were called the continent, one of the biggest continent, and the more formally known was called Pangaea. And the continents eventually drifted away, and it was called the continental drift. And that's how we get our Earth today. And it didn't have any plant life, though, when Pangaea was a thing. No, it did. But Gaia didn't really have like any plant life because planets couldn't thrive yet. And Gaia was really hot. It was extremely hot because it was just born. The planet was just born, so of course it's going to be really hot. And then Gaia had no atmosphere, therefore it had no oxygen. Yet there were actually microorganisms and like germs and stuff like that. Even though there was bacteria, even though that there was no oxygen, bacteria could still thrive. So, Earth. The Earth was once believed to be the center of the universe. Back then, Renaissance, stuff like that, they believed Earth was the center, and that was called it was heterocentric theory. No, I think it was the geocentric theory. That was the Earth was in the center, and the heterocentric theory was the sun was in the center, which, being a theory, was correct. The Earth is the most dense planet in our solar system. It's really dense. A lot of rock. It's really rocky. The rotation of the Earth is gradually slowing down, and that's because the magnetic field is weakening, and that's stopping the rotation. Millions of years from now, the Earth will stop, and, well, if the Earth even survives a million years from now. And the Earth has the most circular orbit of all the planets. It's not perfect, but it's the most circular, according, except, with all the other planets, like Jupiter and all those. Apparently they don't have really circular object. They have circular orbits, but not. This is the most circular orbit. And Theia. Theia was about the same size as Mars, and it was really close to the Earth. And it was created right next to Gaia. And if Theia never collided with Gaia, it would have looked just like Earth. We would have had Earth, then a mini Earth. And that would have just been, it'd been interesting to see that. And the collision of Gaia and Theia, it created the moon. That collision hit, and then the particles and dust and rock formed what is today our moon. So our moon, which Luna is the name for it, which Luna is actually moon in Spanish. Some people also call it Muna. But, so, there is not a dark side of the moon. There is not dark side of the moon. I think that's supposed to say we've never seen the dark side of the moon. The rise and fall of tides are also caused by the moon. The waves, kind of, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but the moon causes the rise and fall of tides, and it causes waves. So the moon is slowly drifting away from the Earth. The moon is far out there. It's really far out there. Actually, I heard this fact that you can actually fit, from the distance from the Earth to the moon, you can fit all the other planets lined up into there. And that's the perfect length. All the planets lined up perfectly. And that's how far the moon is from the sun, the Earth. And there is over 500,000 craters on the moon. I don't know why I'm getting my numbers wrong. That does not look like 5 million to me. There's over 500,000 craters on the moon. So 3753 Cruthon. 3753 Cruthon is in a normal elliptic orbit, which is wider orbit around our sun. So as the planets have circular orbits, this has an oval, and it passes rather close to the Earth. So it's kind of considered Earth's second moon in a way. Its period of revelate. No, it's not. I can't speak. Words are hard. It's not revelation. Why can't I think it? It's revulsion. No. Forget it. Whatever. I don't even know. And it's also a Q-type asteroid. There's different type of asteroids, and this is a Q-type. Anyway, alright, Mars. So Olympus Mons, a mountain on Mars, is 3 times the size of Mount Everest. It's 3 times the size more of, I think it's supposed to say of Mount Everest. Of Everest. It sticks out of the atmosphere in Mars. And if you were on the other side, one side of the mountain, you wouldn't be able to see the other side because it'd be beyond the horizon. That's how big and wide it is. It's humongous. The landmass of Mars is very similar to Earth. Mars is also like considered the next Earth for us, the next planet that we need to colonize. Because once the Earth dies, also pieces of Mars have been found on Earth. That's really interesting. Like either the moon pieces of Mars drifted onto Earth, or who knows, really. But its pieces of Mars have been found on Earth, and that's really interesting. Sirius is the closest dwarf planet to our sun. It's located in the asteroid belt, and it is the largest of the asteroids and the only unambiguous dwarf planet inside Neptune's orbit. So, what that means, pretty much it's inside Neptune's orbit, is I don't know. Because I forgot. So, you have to search it up because I don't remember. And also, Sirius is the 25th largest body in the solar system. So, Jupiter. One day in Jupiter is 9 hours and 55 minutes. So, way less than a day on Earth. The orbit around the sun is 11.85 Earth years. And that's so far out there. That's going to happen. It's going to take longer. The farther the planets are and the closer they are, the shorter the years will be. The farther they are, it also depends on the speed of the planets and how fast they are orbiting. So Jupiter has at least 67 moons and satellites around it. So we've only discovered 67. There could be more. And Jupiter has a storm called the Big Red Spot, which is actually right here. It's been going on for millions of years, and scientists don't really know why it's still going on or how long it's been going on. No, it's been going on millions of years. Okay. Saturn. So Saturn gives off more energy than given it by the sun. The sun gives it energy, but it gives off more energy than our sun. No, it gives off more energy than given by the sun. It gives more energy than energy received from the sun. 1 year on Saturn is 29.4 Earth years. Saturn has the fastest wind than any other planet, sitting at 1.110 miles an hour. It's pretty fast. I think that is supposed to be 1,110 miles an hour. I don't know why there's a point. A dot. And Saturn has 150 moons and moonlets, being not quite an asteroid and not quite a moon. It's a smaller moon, pretty much. Uranus. It takes Uranus 84 Earth years to orbit the sun. It actually orbits on its side, so it has a tilt, and scientists believe that there was a collision that caused it to go off axis, and now it is tilted. A collision may have caused, that's what I just said, and it has 13 known rings. Every gas giant has rings. Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune. Saturn is the most visible. A lot of the other planets, they have very It's really thin rings. It's really thin. Neptune. It takes Neptune 164.8 Earth years to orbit the sun. Gosh. Neptune has a storm similar to Jupiter's Great Red Spot, and it's called the Small Dark Spot. It's kind of like right here, and there's like another one right here. You can kind of tell like the darker areas are where there are storms. And Neptune has 14 known, so of course, like Jupiter, that's how many moons it has, and we don't. It could have more, but we're not sure. Pluto. In 2006, Pluto was reclassified from a planet to a dwarf planet. It takes Pluto 246.04 Earth years to orbit the sun. Pluto is smaller than many moons, and the orbit of Pluto Yeah. I need to fix a lot of stuff. So, Charon. Charon was once believed as the moon of Pluto. It is now a dwarf planet because Charon it doesn't exactly revolve around Pluto. Pluto and Charon revolve around each other. Therefore, it's not exactly a moon. So it's 1/8 the size of Pluto. And 1 year on Charon is about 153 Earth days. So practically how long it takes to orbit Neptune. Not Neptune. What am I saying? Pluto. Gosh. So this is the hypothetical planet X. This is really interesting to me. So researchers have found mathematical evidence of a planet X deep in our solar system that they're calling Planet 9. Even though it's Planet X, I'm pretty sure they found this before they reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet. So Pluto was still our 9th planet, and now this could be our 9th planet. So Planet X is about 10 times the size of Earth. It's not that big. It's probably about the size of, maybe a bit bigger than Neptune. So Planet X is 20 billion miles away from the sun, and 1 year on Planet X is 10,000 to 20,000 Earth years. So it's really far out there. According to Pluto being only 400, this is 10,000 to 20,000. It's really, really far out there. So Makemake. Makemake is the largest of the Kuiper belt objects. So it's in the Kuiper belt. Kuiper. The surface is covered with methane, ethane, and nitrogen ices. So it's really cold. The temperature of the planet is about 30 Kelvin, or negative 243.2 Celsius. And I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. You'd have to do your research. I'm sorry. Even though I use Fahrenheit because I am in America. But yeah, I have Celsius right there. Makemake lacks the expanded atmosphere that astronomers thought it would develop. So even though astronomers studying it, like, it's gonna develop an atmosphere. Nope, it hasn't. So Eris. Eris was once considered to be the 10th planet of our solar system. Just as Pluto, this was considered to be our 10th planet. Eris is so far out from the sun, its atmosphere sometimes freezes. That's really interesting. I always believed that Eris was located in the Kuiper belt, and Eris is currently the farthest known satellite in the solar system. It's way out there. Humana's ellipsoid shape is believed to be the result of a rapid rotation, spinning around so fast and gave it that shape. Humana has two small moons called Hayaka and Nameka. The moons are believed to be a result of a collision from a large object, and one day in Humana is 3.9 Earth hours. So if you notice, every planet and dwarf planet in our solar system is based after a god, like a Roman god, Greek god. This is actually based on a Hawaiian god, the name of Humana. 2007 or 10. 2007 or 10 is the largest unnamed object in the solar system. It's the fifth brightest trans-Neptunian object in the solar system, so beyond Neptune. It's proposed to be it's proposed to be the name Gong Gong. And 2007 or 10 is a member of the scattered disk, which is a distant circumstellar disk in the solar system that is sparsely populated by icy small solar system bodies. Sedna. Nitrogen, methane, and ice water are among Sedna's makeup. Sedna follows an elliptical path, so the oval. Sedna is a hydrostatic equilibrium, which is the sum of forces in a given direction that must be opposed by an equal sum of forces in the opposite direction. Yeah. So Curior is 400 kilometers wider than the biggest main belt asteroid series. Kilometers, not kilometers. And Curior is more than half the diameter of Pluto. Oh my gosh. I can't talk. Orcas. Orcas is very similar to Pluto. Orcas is themed as the anti-Pluto. So it's very similar to Pluto, but also the opposite of Pluto. And Orcas is rich in water ice. So a lot of ice there, a lot of water ice. It's cold. 2002 MS4. 2002 MS4 is a large classified Kuiper belt object. It's the second largest object in our solar system without a name, and 1 year on 2002 MS4 is 272 Earth years. So Selachia. 1 year on Selachia is 272 Earth years, so very similar to 2002 MS4. Selachia is a member of the asteroid family. So that does it for the planets in our solar system. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making it and doing all this research. I really love astronomy. I think it's amazing. And as always, I can't talk. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.